Another rumor of the return of Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson, this time with a certain project surrounding MCU. Welcome back to Views with Hughes and Jennifer News. This is Jerome Hughes. I want to wish you all a very happy New Year's from me to you, from the bottom of my heart. I wish for you all another prosperous year for 2024 and many more blessings for you to come. So, like I said before, and I've also shared this rumor several times about the possibility of Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU. And then there are also the times where I talked about Scarlett Johansson saying that she's not going to return. And then there's also Chris Evans saying he's not going to return, or even Robert Downey Jr. possibly not returning. But apparently this rumor doesn't seem to want to die down. Okay, so I'm going to share with you all a few insights into it. But before I begin, please let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Do you think that this is going to be true? Are you looking forward to it? Are you hoping that it's true? Do you want to see Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, as well as Scarlett Johansson to return as the original characters? Okay, so be sure to smash the like button so this video can get far wide out there, so that way it can reach more people. And smash the like button and share far wide across social media. And if you have done so already, you're doing all the content I put there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. So, as I've stated before, apparently there's been like a big buzz about Chris Evans actually reprising his role as Captain America, with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, which has been the talk of the town. Now, apparently this excitement coming from channels like The Cosmic Wonder stems from the revelation that phases 4, 5, and 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or as we call it, MCU, thanks to Gary from Neurotic, will be the Multiverse Saga, okay, culminating with the much anticipated Avengers Secret Wars. Okay, now fans have been eagerly speculating about the return of these iconic actors to their beloved characters. I'm going to dive more about that later on in the video. But then there's also doubts that's formed after news of the actors not returning to those iconic roles of the heroes we've admired for the last decade. Now, the latest rumor is not just about Avengers Secret Wars, but also the possibility of what's called the Nomad Project. I'm going to talk about that later on in the video as well, which is also adding a little bit of excitement to the mix itself. All right, now the Nomad Project has been circulating in discussions for quite some time now. Unlike the variant concept where you have different superheroes and various different characters, variant characters, kind of like what they did with Loki in seasons 1 and 2, where there's different variations of Loki, for example. The project itself hints at the original characters actually returning to their original roles rather than the alternate versions of those characters. Now, the thrilling aspect, according to many people, is that it might involve a significant storyline, shedding light on what happened after the events of Avengers Endgame. Now, despite questions surrounding the fate of these characters, reports suggest that the Nomad Project could take place before the start of Phase 4. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all. I did think about this like a couple of years before, especially after I saw Avengers Endgame when I walked out of movie theaters. What happened with the interaction between Steve Rogers and the Red Skull on Vormir? You know, that's what I'm wondering. How did that go? You know, would the Red Skull be shocked to see him? Would would Steve Rogers be shocked to see him as well? How will they interact with each other? Are they going to fight? What's going to happen? Or are they going to come to peace? I mean, I don't know, but that's just me speculating, okay? Now, some may wonder about the viability of such a project, considering the demise or the deaths of key characters such as Iron Man, Tony Stark, where he sacrificed himself, as well as Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, where she sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone. And then there's also Steve Rogers, where he actually died of old age, okay? Now, the answer lies in the timing of the Nomad Project, set before the events of Phase 4. Chris Evans, Captain America in particular, left many unanswered questions when he returned the Infinity Stones, okay? Now, the Nomad Project is believed to dive into the unexplored territory where that is unraveling the untold story of Steve Rogers' life after returning the stones, okay? Could this also lead to him, like, where they start telling the story of where he reunites with Agent Carter? Who knows? But while skepticism surrounds the status of the Nomad Project itself, now recent signals from Marvel Studios and Disney offer for some a glimmer of hope. and speculations about the project being scrapped have been challenged by developments indicating a potential realization. The persistence of the Nomad Project's entertainment services trademark, among other indicators, suggests that the project might indeed materialize. But here's my doubts about it, though. I'm doubtful because of the fact that we heard from the various interviews from Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, as well as Tony Stark. Okay, Chris Evans stated that there's been interviews where it stated that he's retiring from the role of Captain America. Scarlett Johansson is also stated that she won't come back because of the payment dispute from her Black Widow film and stuff, where she wasn't paid the amount of money that was guaranteed to her in the contract that led to a lawsuit against Disney and Marvel Studios. All right. And y'all remember at the start of the pandemic, Black Widow was set to be released in theaters, but then the theaters shut down. And next thing you know, Black Widow was added to Disney Plus, and it wasn't necessarily added yet. It was later on when the theater started reopening, it was added to both Disney Plus as well as the theaters for same day release. Okay. And then there's also Iron Man's Tony Stark's Robert Downey Jr., where in various interviews, he stated that it could take place where he might come back as Iron Man and Iron Man 4 in one interview. And then there's also other outlets stating that he's not interested in coming back. And then it kept going on back and forth. We don't know what to believe, okay? It's all just speculation and rumor at this point, okay? Now, the Nomad Project, as not much of a surprise to those of you who actually follow this channel, as a vision for the MCU, it's actually going to be different from the comic book itself. Okay, now in the comics, Nomad emerges when Steve Rogers loses faith in the government and abandons his Captain American identity. I had to research this because I don't know much about the Nomad Project myself. Now, this storyline may not align with the current MCU narrative, but the elements from it could be integrated, especially considering the involvement of Black Widow. Now, the period between Civil War and Infinity War, when Captain America and Black Widow were outlaws, might be explored, adding depth to the Nomad story. Now, Marvel Studios' trademarking of the Nomad name several years ago did raise some expectations. I did hear about this before, and I still didn't know about the Nomad story then. Now, though the project seemingly took the back seat after Avengers Endgame, now recent trademark updates indicate a renewed interest. Now, the potential return of Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson for Avengers Secret Wars actually fuels the belief that discussions about the Nomad Project may have taken place. Now, for the Nomad Project, if it's realized, it's going to hold the promise of reunited fans with beloved characters and exploring untold aspects of their stories. Kind of like, I'm hoping it's not like what they did with the Black Widow movie. Now, the prospect of witnessing Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow once more can be enticing, but a lot of fans have like a lot of doubts because we've all read into and seen the intentions of Marvel Studios as well as Disney. Okay, so here's the thing though, I'm not sure that, like, okay, give it a few years ago, fans would have been excited about it, you know, seeing them to return to the big screen as these beloved characters. Okay, or even like a Disney Plus show. All right, but as we saw how Marvel Studios under Kevin Feige has been carrying these different IPs, creating these different movies as well as shows, they've become flops. Okay, within the phase 4 of the MCU, the only movie that was successful was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All right, but the other films, flops. Okay, didn't even break even in the box office. The ratings on Disney Plus were low because of the fact that they started off being reported as high, but later on, or not even released at all. But the thing is, people are just tired of it, and the trailers are out there stating that, you know, it's because of superhero movie fatigue and everything. No, I mean, that's just one small bit about it. If you dive deeper into it, you're going to explore the bigger issue. And the trailers aren't reporting on this. Mainstream media is not reporting on this at all either. But it's YouTubers like me that report on this. And that's because of the fact that all the virtue signaling, the political virtue signaling in all these movies, as well as these shows, whether it's from Marvel or even some of, what DC put out there is what's generating the so-called superhero fatigue, where people get tired of, seeing something that's politically integrated into a particular project and stuff, where they follow the ESG model as well as DEI models. All right, trying to get a good score and get more money from the government. The problem with that, you lose your core audiences, and when you do that, you lose more money. Okay, that's why people are getting tired of the superhero movies, because of the fact that they don't have faith that these companies will actually go ahead and listen to them and give them what they want. Okay, I was a Marvel fan. Okay, I was a DC fan. All right, but the fact of the matter is, these companies don't know what. No, they know what they're doing. I stand corrected. They know what they're doing. The problem is they're not willing to go ahead and give the fans what they want. If you give the fans what they want, what we want will come back. Okay. And it's just that simple, but they want to go ahead and try to appease, like they say that they want to reach out to a younger audience. Okay, that's fine, but you're doing it incorrectly. All right. Now, like I said, the trades are still standing by the claim where it's superhero fatigue, where so many projects and stuff are being all released all at once and everything. When in reality, and this is something they're not acknowledging, in reality, these companies like Marvel and Disney decide to go ahead and put political virtue signaling in their projects, where they're losing the core audiences that didn't want any of that stuff in there. Okay, and led to people just basically to tune out. It also shows that they're using that claim to try and shape the thinking of others, trying to get them to think in ways that they want them to think. So that way they can get more eyes on their pages, more people to subscribe and everything, so on and so forth. Okay. Rather than just simply listening to what they want. All right. So let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think that this is actually going to come true? Do you think that this is going to be reality, or do you think this is just nothing more than entertainment fluff? All right, where they just basically boost you up, trying to get you interested, and next thing you know, boom, only to find out it's not happening. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Also, be sure to smash like button, share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, you enjoyed all the content I put out there, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.